Hello, thank you for joining me today for Gentle Yoga. My name is Caitlin and I'm the Assistant Manager here at EVPL Oakland, as well as a 200-hour certified yoga instructor. For this class, you may want to have a strap, and you can use anything you have around the house, a scarf, a necktie, anything like that will work. And I'm also going to use 2 blocks, so some thick books work as well if you don't have blocks, something like that, just to raise the ground up closer to you. So to get started, we're just going to take a lie down on our backs, and you can have your legs out long, you can have them bent with your knees knocking in towards each other. Just place your hands on your stomach and start to breathe. Start to arrive at your mat. So inhaling in slowly, deeply through the nose, and exhaling slowly through the nose. Breathing in. Just continue with that breathing. You can close your eyes if you'd like to. Focus on trying to bring the breath all the way down into the diaphragm, making your hands rise and fall as your breath goes in and out. Doing that deep, deep belly breathing that we so often don't do. So take 2 more breaths just where you're at, in and out, in and out. Next, bring both your knees to your chest. Your hands can be on top of your shins, they can be under your knee creases. Pulling your knees towards your chest, and just rock a little side to side, massaging the low back into the mat. You can cross your ankles if you'd like. Keep a hold of your right leg. Let your left leg go up towards the ceiling and rotate that ankle on your left leg. One way and then the other. Come to stillness. We're going to do 3 leg lowers with that left leg. So keeping your right knee into your chest, brace your core, pull your belly button to your spine, slowly trace a line with control down to the front. See if you can let that leg hover at the bottom. Use your core, exhale, bring your leg all the way back up. Let's do that again. Slowly lower your leg down with control, waking up the core. You may feel your low back lift a little bit off the mat. If it lifts up a lot, just don't lower your leg as much. You want to keep the work in your core. Lower it down again for a 3rd time. Slowly bring it back up. Let's do 5 total. So we'll do 1, another 2 sets here. Down. And then up. Down. And then back up. When you get to the top, bend your knee, place your left foot flat on the floor, take your right foot, put your ankle on top of your left thigh, figure 4. So this is opening up the right hip on that side of your body, so you can press your knee away from your body. If you're very flexible in the hips, you need a little more stretch in that outer hip, you can interlace your hands, pick up your left thigh, squeeze it towards you. Wherever you're at, keep breathing. You can rock a little side to side if that feels good. Go ahead and release. If you have your hands interlaced, take the right leg off the left, and we're going to take it to the other side. So this time, both knees again come to your chest, rock a little side to side. And then keep a hold of your left leg, keep it into your chest, raise your right leg up to the sky, Rotate that ankle one way, and then the other. Come to stillness, engage your core, so brace your stomach like you're anticipating a punch. It's the easiest way to get someone to embrace their core. You're going to slowly lower that right leg down with control. Let it hover at the bottom and then bring it back up. Again, slowly lower down. Bring it down a third time. We'll do 2 more. And then last one. Bring that leg all the way back up. Lower your right foot to the mat. Again, figure 4 left. So this time, left ankle on top of right thigh. Your legs are in a 4 shape. You can press that knee away. You can interlace the hands around the right thigh, pick it up, bring it to you. You may find one side is a lot stiffer than the other, and it's completely normal. We work towards balance, but you'll always usually have a side that's a little more flexible than the other. So wherever you're at, just keep breathing. Never hold your breath in yoga. Always keep it smooth and even if you can, as best you can. Take one more breath. And if you have your hands interlaced, slowly let it go. Let both legs come to the mat, feet flat on the floor. Just windshield wiper your legs back and forth. We're going to keep waking up the back and the core here in the supine position for a little bit longer. So walk your feet in. Your feet are hip distance apart. Walk your heels close enough to your bottom that you can graze your heels with your hands. We're setting up for a moving bridge. So for a moving bridge, we're going to press into our feet, into our shoulders, lift our hips up. At the same time, our arms are going to come up and overhead. If this movement bothers your shoulders, you can just work with the legs. You can just work with raising your legs up, squeeze your glutes at the top, and then slowly lower down. So let's do a set together. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, and back down. So we'll do 5. This is number 3, inhaling up, coming back down. Number 4. Make sure you squeeze your glutes at the top, wake up the back body. And come all the way down. For our next exercise, we're going to get more into the core. This one is called dead bug. So it's one of my favorites for getting into the core without crunching up, putting that strain on your neck. So your head's going to stay flat on the mat. Your legs are going to come up at 90-degree angles like you're sitting in a chair. You're going to bring your arms up overhead. And then as you slowly lower your right arm overhead, your left leg will straighten out. And you can lower the leg to any degree. If you need a little more, the lower you lower your leg, the harder the exercise will be in your abs. So just keep that in mind. If you feel like your low back is pulling up a whole lot, just don't lower your leg as much. Just work on straightening it out. So keep moving between these 2 shapes. As your left arm goes back behind you, right leg straightens, come back to center. Right arm back, left leg straight. Moving with your own breath. It doesn't matter if you're inhaling or exhaling, just as long as you do both evenly, smoothly. Keep it going. A strong core will help us balance later on. Do one more each side. Make sure you feel even. And then go ahead and hug your knees in. Release that work. Massage that low back into the mat. And from here, we're going to rock and roll up to a seated position. So you can roll to one side and press yourself up, or if you prefer, you can put your hands under your knee creases and rock up along the spine, massaging the spine. until you get enough momentum that you come all the way up. So for our next sequence, our sitting position, up tall, shoulders up and back, both sits bones rooted into the ground, so you may need to move the flesh from the sides. If your hips are really tight, you feel like you're sitting kind of like a Coke shrimp right here, you can put a block underneath your hips and sit up on a block. That's going to just help you sink your knees more down towards the mat, help you keep an erect, upright spine. So wherever you want to sit, we're just going to start by bringing our arms up. And then as you exhale, you're going to twist to the left, arms come out to shoulder height. Inhale your arms up, twist to the other side. So keep moving between these two movements, in and twist, in and twist. As you twist, focus on using your exhale to bring your belly button to your spine and use the power of your exhale to pull you deeper into the twist. Just moving at your own pace. You may be off from me, and that's totally fine, just so long as you move with your breath, inhaling up, exhaling to one side. Do 2 more on each side. Make sure you feel even, getting a little arm workout in as we do this. Go ahead and come back to stillness. For our next exercise, we will take our left leg out long, right leg comes in. Take your left arm alongside your left leg, inhale your right arm up and over. And just go as low as feels comfortable for you. You'll feel a big stretch down that left leg. You'll also feel a stretch on your right side. So you don't want to go so low that your hip is popping up, because that will take the stretch out of the side. So you may not be as low as me, or you may be lower than me. And that's totally fine. Just wherever you're at, just keep breathing. Go ahead and come up. Keep that left leg out. You're going to rotate your torso towards the left. Inhale your arms up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, reach towards your toes. Your hands can rest on your thigh, your calf, maybe they reach your foot, just wherever's comfortable. Try and keep your chest elevated a little. Try not to curve in. The higher you raise your chest, the more stretch you'll feel in your low back here. Up your leg. We're going to switch out the legs. This time right leg comes out long, left leg comes in. Starting first with that side bend, right arm drops inside right leg, left arm comes up and over. And for your gaze can be down at the floor. It can be straightforward, or it can be up at the ceiling, just whatever's safest for your neck. Rotate your torso towards your outstretched leg, arms up high, hinge at the hips, reach towards your toes. And again, it's not how far you can reach, it's whether you feel that stretch in your low back. Bring the soles of your feet together. Your legs will be in a diamond shape. Your feet can be about 10 to 12 inches from your pelvis. You may need to move the flesh from your sits bones. Make sure you're really rooted down. Inhale, get tall. As you exhale, hinge forward, maybe just a little bit. Elbows press into your inner thighs, opening up those hips, those inner thighs a little more. Wherever you're at, breathe. from here, stay hinged at the hips. What you're gonna do is you're gonna dip one elbow down, so dip your right elbow down, press your left hand into your left thigh, coming into a little twist. Feel it in the low back. The more you press into your leg and the more you twist yourself, the more you'll feel that right about where your kidneys sit on that left side. Other side, right hand presses into right thigh, left elbow dips down, maybe you look up at the ceiling. Come back to center. Come back to an easy seat. Let's get into the neck a little bit. So inhale, make sure you're sitting up really tall. As you exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Right arm can come out to the side if you need more stretch. Don't strain it, just go as far as where you feel a nice stretch on that right side of the neck. Lower your chin towards your left armpit. Bring your arm in if it was out, bring your head back to center. Take it to the other side, right ear to right shoulder, left arm can come out. Drop your chin towards your armpit. Bring your hand in, bring your head back to neutral, and then bring your chin all the way up to the ceiling, open the throat. Chin back to neutral, and then keep it going all the way to the center of your chest. Keep your shoulders up and back. Next, go ahead and bring your hands out, make a fist, rotate your wrists one way, and then the other. We're making our way to tabletop, so we will be on hands and knees for a little bit. If you need a little padding under your knees, go ahead and grab that. Just a thin blanket, you can roll up your yoga mat, anything like that, and then I'll show you how we're going to be in tabletop. So coming forward, you want your hands pressing into the mat, really wide handprints. Your middle finger points forward. You're almost cupping the mat with your hands, so it's almost like a suction cup where your palm rises up in the middle. That's going to protect your wrists and keep you from dumping everything into your wrists and causing pain. Your legs are hip width apart, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. From here, we're going to move through some cats and cows to keep waking up the spine. So on an inhale, belly comes down, look up. On an exhale, curve your spine towards the ceiling, chin to chest. So inhaling, belly down, chest through arms, look up. Exhale, curl up. So keep moving between these two shapes at your own pace. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, chin to chest. Two more each. So 2 more cows, 2 more cats. When you finish, just come to a neutral spine. Gaze is at the top of the mat, pressing into your hands, into the bottom of your hands, raising your upper back, doming it towards the ceiling. Try not to sink and collapse into your shoulders here. From here, we're going to do balancing tables. So on an inhale, lift your right arm, maybe lift your left leg as well. If this is too much for you, lower that left leg. Wherever you're at, keep breathing. Brace your core, press up and out of that left shoulder. And we're going to move a little bit here. So inhale, as you exhale, move your right arm to the right, your left leg to the left. Try and keep it at hip height if you can. And bring it back to center. So it's a big movement. You might be a little wobbly. You can can move just an inch out and back. Just go at your own pace. If that's 3, we'll do 5 total. 4 and 5. Lower that hand, lower that knee. Sit back on your heels for a minute. Shake out that left wrist that was holding you up. Maybe make some more wrist circles. And we'll take it to the other side. So this time your right leg comes out, left arm comes up. Press up and out of that right shoulder. Finding first our balance. It's a big balance. Breathing. Inhale. Take it out to the side. Back to center. And out. Back to center. And out. 2 more. Out. 1 more. Out. And come back. Lower that hand, lower that leg. This time, you're going to take your big toes to touch, your knees as wide as your yoga mat. You're going to shift your hips over towards your heels, coming into child's pose. So your face, your forehead can be resting on a rock or on the mat if you have the flexibility. If you feel any kind of pain in your hips, you can always put a pillow or a couple blocks underneath your chest just to raise you up a little bit. This is meant to be a relaxing pose, but it is still a big stretch for the low back and the hips. So in your child's pose, just breathe in and out. For this next one, I'm going to grab my blocks, so you might want to grab yours too. We're going to do 2 more stretches on each leg before we finally come to our standing series. So from your knees, step your right foot forward. So as you can see, I have my blocks on either side of my right foot. Your left knee is under your left hip. Bend into that right knee. Maybe walk your left foot back a little bit. Stretching out that hip flexor. So if you need a little less, you can always keep your knee a little less bent. You can move your hips back a little bit. If you need more, you can sink your hips down towards the mat. And this is where the blocks really come in handy. They really help raise the floor up to meet you. Breath here in your low lunge. And then exhale, start to straighten that right leg. Your right toes are going to come up off the mat, curl them towards your knee, hamstring stretch. So if you need more, you can always bring your chest towards your knee. That's going to intensify the stretch in the back of the leg. Bend your right leg, come forward, drag that right foot back, left leg comes forward. So first, find your position. You may want some extra padding under your back knee here. Walk on either side of your left foot is forward this time. Sink your hips down if you like, open up that right hip flexor. Curl your toes up towards your knee, hamstring stretch. And again, if you feel any pain at all behind your knee, go ahead and give it a little bend. It is okay to have a bend here. Your leg does not have to be straight. Even if it's bent, you're still going to get some stretch in that hamstring. Drag that foot going to make our way to standing. So however you like to get there, I like to come through a downward dog and walk my feet up to my hands. That's completely optional. You definitely don't have to do that. Down dog is one of the basic poses of yoga, but it's also one of the hardest to get right. If you'd like to try it and join me, you're going to place your hands really wide. You're going to turn your inner elbows forward like this. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips up. Push your hips back towards your heels. Knees are bent. Feet are hip distance apart. Hands are shoulder width apart or a little wider. So this is a great arm strengthening pose. It opens up the shoulders. But again, completely optional. From here, I'm just going to look up at my hands. I'm going to take small little steps all the way up until I come into a forward fold at the top of my mat. So in your forward fold, you can grab opposite elbows, leaning forward. Maybe you sway side to side. It is okay to have bent knees here. The point is to bend your knees enough that your chest can lay on your thighs. And slowly roll all the way up to stand. Roll your shoulders up and back, palms forward. Maybe shake your sweaty hair out of your face. And from here, we're going to do a few half sun salutations. So if at any point you get dizzy, take it slow. You don't have to dip down into a forward fold. You can just work with the arms like this. So starting first, you bring your hands to heart center. Lower them. Inhale them up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down through heart center. Bend your knees, hinge at the hips, come into a forward fold. Inhale up halfway, so you're going to make a 7 with your body. And then fold. Press into your feet, inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center. And up and drop. We'll do that 2 more times, just to keep warming up. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale and fold. Press into your feet. Inhale all the way up. Maybe you do a little back bend, looking up at the ceiling. Hands through heart center. And relax. One more. Inhale up. Exhale and fold. Inhale up halfway. Fold. Press into your feet. Inhale all the way up. Hands through heart center, and then relax. Excellent work. So we're going to come into our warrior poses before we do our balance. So our first pose is warrior 1. For warrior 1, your feet are hip distance apart. You're going to take a big step back with that left foot. So your left foot is at a 45. Your right foot is forward, parallel to the long side of your yoga mat if you're using a yoga mat. So your left toes are pointing towards the top left corner of your mat. You want to try and bring this left hip and this right hip in line. So what that means is the left hip is going to have to come forward, the right hip is going to have to come back. If you feel any pain or twisting in this back knee, lift that heel a little bit. You can always keep that back knee bent a little bit if you need to. It doesn't need to be straight. You're going to press into both your feet, really powerful pose. Inhale, maybe your arms come up overhead. You can always keep your hands at your waist if you need the help with the balance. Let's work on our shoulders a little bit while we're here. So our legs are working a lot, bending into that right knee. We're going to bring our shoulders down to cactus arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Do a little back bend. Inhale. And then exhale. Release everything up. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades. Release. 1 more. Squeeze. And release. So keep with the pose. I know it's a lot. If you need a break, you can always straighten that front leg. 1 more breath. And Lower your hands to your waist, start to step that back foot forward, shake it out. Now we're going to take it to the other side. So this time, right foot comes back, left foot forward, and make sure your feet are far apart. You don't want to be on a tightrope here. You want your feet apart so that way you can balance. Right foot pointing towards the right corner of the mat. Bring that right hip forward, that left hip back. Bring your arms up. And this time we're going to fly. So as you exhale, you're going to come forward, sweep your arms back, a little balance challenge. And inhale, come back up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 2 more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale. Excellent work. Keep holding it just a little longer. Again, if you need a break, straighten that front leg. A lot of work in the lower legs. Go ahead and lower your arms, step that front foot forward, back foot forward, sorry. Shake it out. And then just let your arms hang loose. Rotate from side to side, just releasing all that work you just did. From here, we're going to come into our Warrior 2 series. So Warrior 2, go ahead and start with your right foot forward. Take a big step back with your left foot. So your hips are going to be pointing in the same direction as your back foot. Bend into your front right knee. The traditional alignment is heel to heel or heel to arch with your feet. If that doesn't work for you, you can always start to walk this foot in a little bit or walk your back foot forward a little bit. Just see what feels natural to you. Your hips are pointing in the same direction as your back foot. Engage your back glute. That way you're not dumping everything into this front leg. Look down, make sure you can still see your big toe, that your knee's not collapsing in. Raise your arms up to shoulder height. Look out over your right fingers. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Keep breathing. And we're going to move here. So on an inhale, straighten your front leg. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, sink Warrior 2. Up. Down. Up. Warrior 2. 2 more. Up. Warrior 2. 1 more. Up. Warrior 2. Straighten that front foot. Parallel your feet, so your feet are still really wide. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold just to release the legs before we move to the other side. So you can have your walk in front of you, wherever you're at. Inhale up, get tall. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, come forward. Hands can rest on the mat or a block. Maybe you move from side to side, just releasing all that work that you just did. Bring your hands to your waist, bend your knees, press yourself all the way up. We're going to take it to the other side. So I am just going to change and be pointing the opposite direction on my mat. So my left foot is parallel to the long side of the mat. My right foot's parallel to the short side. I'm going to bend into my left knee, walk my feet out just a hair. Make sure my hips are pointing in the same direction as my right toes. Arms come up, look out over your left fingers. and we're gonna move here. So inhale it up, exhale, warrior two. Inhale up, warrior two. Up, down, two more, up, down, one more, up, and then down, and stay. Drop the arms, straighten that front leg, parallel the feet, come into another wide-legged forward fold. And this time when you get down, place your right hand on a block or the ground. Bring your left hand to your chest, open it up to the left. Down, replace it. Bring your right hand to your chest, open your chest up to the right. Bring your hand back down. Bring your hands to your waist, bend your knees, press yourself all the way up. Walk your feet in closer. Now we're going to come to our standing balance portion. So to start, we are going to start with tree pose, one of my favorites. So we're going to start on our right foot. So make your right foot really strong on the mat, pressing down through all four corners of your foot. You're going to engage that leg, engage that quad, bring your belly button over your standing leg a little bit, and engage your core. It's going to help with your balance. Hands to your waist. Come up on the toes of your left foot. Open your left knee out to the side. And you can choose between three levels. So first is kickstand, just letting your left heel rest on your right ankle. You can bring it up to your calf, or you can bring your left foot all the way into your right inner thigh. So whatever you choose, just make sure you're not pressing into that knee, that you're either above or below the knee. Once you have your foot placed, press your leg into your foot, foot into your leg. You can bring your hands to heart center. You might wobble a bit. That is totally fine if you do. That's how your body learns to catch itself. It engages all those little micro muscles in your foot and ankle that help keep you upright. Just breathe. From here, you lift your arms overhead, might knock you off balance. Lower the arms, lower the legs, shake it out. We'll move to the other side. So this time, right foot down, really strong. Engage that left quad, engage your core, tuck it in, make it strong. Hands to your waist, come up on the toes of the right foot, open your right knee to the side. And either kickstand, calf, or inner thigh. Again, you might wobble. It's totally fine. If you need to use a wall as well for your balance portion, feel free to. Maybe you bring your hands up overhead. The hands, lower the foot. Ooh, shake it out. So the next balance pose I have is one of my favorites called Falling Star. It's really great at strengthening your sides, so your obliques, without having to get on the ground and do crunches. So we are going to start on our right foot. So right foot comes out at a 45-degree angle. You're gonna raise your arms up overhead. Come up on the toes of your left foot. And the goal is to balance on our right leg at an angle. So palms facing forward, arms up overhead. So as you start to lean to the right, maybe you pick those left toes up. You're gonna feel your obliques, your sides turn on. you can keep tapping that toe down. You can go even further out. Just listen to your body. Come up, take it to the other side. So left toes out at a 45-degree angle, arms overhead, palms facing forward. Start to slowly tip to the left. Come back up. Excellent work. All right, last balance pose, and then we'll make our way down onto our mats for our cool down. So for this one, you're gonna balance on your right leg. We're just gonna do a simple standing quad stretch. So if you need a wall for support, definitely do that. You're gonna make your right leg really, really strong. Bend your left knee, see if you can grab that ankle. If you can't, you can use your strap, put it around your ankle, and hold that strap. The more you move your left knee back, the more intense the quad stretch is going to be. Go ahead and release. And take it to the other side. Left foot down. Bend your right knee. See if you can grab it with your hand. Now we are going to make our way all the way down onto our mats, onto our stomach. So however you want to get there, I'm going to go through some A here. Just like that. Lower my knees, slowly lower all the way down. Make sure you have enough room, move your props out of the way. I'm just going to start in a Sphinx pose. Very gentle back bend. We worked our core, so now we need to work the back as well. I'm just going to take your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Forearms and palms press into the mat. Toes press into the mat. Feel your kneecaps up off the mat. And look forward. Make a little pillow for your head, lay your right cheek down, bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Okay, we're going to do 2 rounds of locust. So locust is a pretty big back bend. It's a great back strengthener as well. So for locust, to set up, your legs can be together or they can be hip distance. I prefer hip distance. You want your toes pointing towards each other and your heels flopping out. That's going to help take some of the work out of your glutes and put it back into your back, which is where we want it. Your hands are going to come down by your hips. Palms can be down or face up. Your shoulders are squeezed down your back. So on an inhale, we're going to lift our chest and feet. See if you can lift both. If you can't, you can just work with the legs or the chest. So to prepare, exhale. And then inhale, lift your chest, lift your feet. Keep your neck neutral, gazing forward. Try not to turn the neck. Keep breathing even though you're balancing on your stomach. One more breath. And slowly lower down again. Bend your elbows. Place your forearms on the mat. Lay your left cheek down. Windshield wiper your legs back and forth. And then lower your legs. Let's set up for our second set. So again, shoulders are squeezed down your back. Inhale and exhale to prepare. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your feet, gaze is forward. One more breath. And then slowly lower it all down again. Elbows bent. Lay your head down and you'll lower your legs. From here, press back to a child's pose, just to straighten out that low back, bring it back to neutral. Forward, we're making our way onto our spines again, like how we started class. So you want to make sure you have your strap, tie, scarf, whatever you've got handy, as well as a block. Make your way all the way down. When you get there, hug your knees into your chest, rock a little side to side. And then lower your legs. Take your strap, place the middle of it around the ball of your right foot. Lift your right foot up towards the ceiling. Walk your hands up the strap so your elbows are straight. You have each side of the strap in your hand. And pull, bring that leg towards your face. If you feel any pain behind the knee, bend that knee. Those straps into your right hand. Let your leg fall open to the right. You can be up high, or if you have the flexibility, you can bring your elbow to the mat or the ground and let your foot hang out there. Your left leg can be bent, or you can lay it straight and flat on the mat. If you do, it'll intensify the stretch a little bit. Bend your right knee a little. Bring your leg all the way back up to straight. Take the straps into your left hand, cross the midline, so the middle of your body just an inch or two, and drive your heel towards the ceiling. This is going to get that IT band, that muscle that stretches all the way outside of your leg from your hip all the way down to your ankle. You can play around with moving the toes, maybe move the toes to one side and then the other. Just see how it changes the stretch. Find a position that's comfortable for you where you still feel a good stretch. Back to straight for one more breath. And then bend your knee, release the foot, take it to the other side. So this time left foot inside the strap. Raise it all the way up to the ceiling. Walk your hands up the strap until your arms are straight. And pull that leg towards you. straps into your left hand, open your leg out to the left, to any degree. You just want to make sure when you do this that your right hip isn't popping up. If it's doing that, raise your leg up a little higher. Left knee a little, straighten your right, take the straps in your right hand, cross the midline an inch or two, drive your heel up towards the ceiling. To center for one more breath in. Bend your knee and move the strap. So we have 2 more poses before final rest, Shavasana. For our inversion, I like to offer waterfall. You can also do this by putting your legs up on a wall or letting your legs rest on a chair with your knees bent. For traditional waterfall, you're going to take the block on its lowest setting, long ways. Press into your feet, lift your hips up, place the block underneath your hips, maybe a little lower than you wear a belt. And lift your legs up towards the ceiling. So this is a great way to get our heart rate down, to calm down at the end of our yoga practice. If you don't like the block underneath your hips, you can always, again, grab a chair, bend your knees, place your legs on a chair. You can go up to a wall if you have wall space. Lift your legs up on the wall, removing the block. You can also just do this without the block. The block is just there so that way your hips can stay up and it helps you hold your legs aloft a little easier. So wherever you're at, just breathe. Start to maybe get into that meditative headspace. So just focusing on your breath going in and out, relaxing after all the hard work you've done. To the mat. Press into your feet, remove the block, slowly lower your hips down to the mat, windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Our final pose is just going to be an easy twist. Walk your feet to the edges of your mat, your knees knock in towards each other, capital letter A with your legs. You can have your arms out long at shoulder height or to goal post, whatever feels best for your shoulders. Go ahead and let your knees fall to the left, bring your gaze to the right. And knees back to center. Let your legs fall to the right, gaze to the left. Bring your gaze arms down by your hips, or you can rest them on your stomach. You can leave your legs in this capital letter A position, or you can lengthen them long on the mat. We're coming into Shavasana, final rest. So yoga teaches us this is the most important pose of the yoga class. It's your opportunity to absorb what you've done, to rest, maybe to meditate if you meditate. So stay lying down. I'm going to roll up so I can keep time. So stay where you're at on your mat. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Just focus on bringing your breath in and out smoothly and evenly. If you meditate, you can meditate by focusing on that breath, going in and out. We'll be here for just a few minutes. This is your chance to just relax completely, sink into your mat. Slowly wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe rotate your wrists and your ankles. Maybe you let your arms go long above your head, your legs stretch out, full body stretch. When you're ready, you can roll to one side and make your way up to an easy seat. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your class. Namaste.